Okay, so today's lesson is about action verbs versus non-action verbs. Action verbs include verbs such as go, talk, study, clean, visit, eat, do, and climb. On the other hand, when we talk about non-action verbs, there are different categories. For example, sense verbs, which are basically verbs related to the five senses. For example, the sense of sight. For that, we have the verb look. The sense of hearing, the verb sound. The sense of smell, the verb smell. For the sense of taste, we have the verb taste. And finally, for the sense of touch, we have the verb feel. Stative verbs or non-action verbs also include possession verbs such as have or own. We also have verbs related to emotions such as like and love. We also have mental state verbs, which include verbs such as know or understand. And finally, other verbs, for example, cost. Let's now talk about the first difference between these two kinds of verbs. For that, let's take a look at some examples. Number 1. Canela is cleaning her house quickly. Anna dances beautifully. Number 2. Francisco likes his new place. Mei-Ling has 2 pets. Notice that in the first part we have the verbs clean and dance. So we're talking about action verbs, while in the second part we have the verbs like and have. So they are non-action verbs. What else can we say about this? As you can see, action verbs can take simple or progressive forms, while non-action verbs take only simple forms. That is, we can use simple present, simple past, or simple future, but never a progressive form. Let's talk about another difference. Examples. Number 1. Mark works really hard. Bruno is looking at me angrily. Number 2. Peruvian ceviche tastes delicious. And the cake smells great. As you can see, in the first part we have action verbs, whereas in the second part we have non-action verbs. What else can we say about this? Notice these words, hard, angrily, and delicious and great. Those words are modifying the verbs. So in conclusion, we can say that action verbs are modified by adverbs, while non-action verbs are modified by adjectives. But be careful, adjectives are only used when we have verbs such as taste and smell, that is, sensing verbs. Let's now complete the following sentence. My sister, we have to use taste, the food over there. So the correct answer would be my sister is tasting the food over there. But wait, you said before that taste is a stative verb, so it can never be used in ing form. Why are we using ing here? Because actually, taste is a verb that can have two different meanings. For example, taste can refer to an action. A similar verb could be the verb try, when we try food, for example. And it can also refer to a state. Let's now take a look at some other verbs that can have two different meanings. Number 1. Maria looks good today. Number 2. Maria is looking at me angrily. As you can see, in number 1, the verb look is a non-action verb because it refers to someone's appearance. That is, we're talking about a state. And in number 2 is looking. It's actually an action verb because it refers to the idea of paying attention to someone. Number 3. Nicole thinks that she's pretty. Number 2. Anna is thinking about buying an apartment. So for number 1, we have thinks. That is a non-action verb because it refers to someone's giving an opinion. But in the case of number 2, is thinking. It's not an opinion. It's actually very similar to the verb planning, which would be an action verb. Another verb is the following. Number 1, Daniel has a cat called Simba. Number 2, Allison is having dinner with friends in the living room. So in number 1 we have has, which is a non-action verb because it refers to possession. Now look at number 2, is having dinner. Actually, in this case we are talking about an action verb because a similar verb could be eating dinner. Let's now wrap this lesson up by completing the following sentences. Use a correct verb form in an adjective or adverb. Number 1, that idea, we have to use a verb sound, and good, which is the adjective. So what do you think? That idea sounds good, because sound is a stative verb, a non-action verb, so it has to take an adjective. Number 2, when you think positive, nothing go bad. So the correct answer would be when you think positively, nothing goes badly. As you can see, we have to use adverbs because the verbs think and go are action verbs in this case. Number 3, Alice plays soccer good or well, but she could be better. Play. Play is an action verb, so we have to use an adverb. And therefore, the sentence will be Alice plays soccer well. Finally, usually I be polite, but today they say that I be rude. Notice that we have the verb be, which is a non-action verb. Therefore, we need to use an adjective. So it would be usually I'm polite, but today they say that I'm being rude. Also notice here that we are using the progressive form, present continuous, because we are talking about a temporary situation. It's only happening today. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.